Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Chris Cruz. We're doing a little make it and take it painting project, and I'm going to show you some little tricks on how to paint some things without actually painting them. So today we're going to use regular scrap paper, and I have a little bird traced on here. And this is going to be covered with the paint, but a lot of people always tell me I can't paint eyes. So I'm going to show you a little trick on to how to cheat a little bit with this project. And what I'm using is a Sharpie Ultra Fine Point pen. So what I do is I paint the eye first just so that I don't lose it when I'm painting. And I just make it kind of like not perfect. See, like almost like a little V here. And I bring this down just a tad so that I know that that's where the eye is. I'll make this a little bit rounder up here, and I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, so we're going to use just 5 colors of paint today. We will have light phthalo blue, cobalt blue, bismuth benedetti yellow, rose sienna, and burnt umber, and these are all golden paints. Okay, heavy body. So if you have these paints, use those or use something that you have at home. And I'm going to use 2 brushes today. I will be using Ruby Satin by Silver, the Filbert one, number 0, and the Round Ruby Satin number 8. And if you can, I put my little palette there so you can see they're not really big brushes. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of this blue, light blue paint, which is the light phthalo blue, and a little bit of the cobalt blue. And I'm not really mixing it. I'm just kind of dabbing it, both of them, on my brush here. This is the Filbert brush. And what I want to do is kind of outline the body of my little bird. Don't worry about the eyes. Skip that, right? And I'm going to come here on the top. Anybody can do this. I mean, this is like really just like almost coloring book painting. And I'm going to fill all of this in here. And I'm not really putting water in my brush. I'm going to take a little bit of my light blue and my cobalt blue again. And here are the little wings. So I'm going to turn this over so that you can see it better. And I'm going to take the tip of my Filbert and I'm going to press on it and bring my little feather in. I'm going to do the same thing with this one and bring my little feather in. There's going to be some more little feathers over here. So what I want to do is take upside down again, put my darkest color on the bottom here so that I know and I don't forget that there's a little wing there. And I'm just going to brush this out so that everything is covered. And try to keep the shape of the bird. If you notice, the bird is round. So if the feathers are going to go this way, make sure you're painting in this direction. Now I'm going to go just a little bit underneath the eye right here with the lighter side of my brush to highlight it. See that? And this little wing area here, this is still the light phthalo in my brush. So I am just going to brush this out and give him some little light wings. I know you have this. You can do this. This is super easy to do. Next thing I'm going to do is take my, I haven't rinsed my brush. I haven't added any water. So I'm taking my cobalt blue. And if you notice, the cobalt is on one side and the rest of the brush has the light color. And what I want to do is I want to shade some of these areas, but I don't really want to make it really obvious that I'm shading. So I'm just going to very softly come here, and you see I have too much white, so I'm going to wipe it off. And I'm going to press on the blue side and feather out his little body. And I'm going to come darker again. And I'm going to show you a little trick. So, whoops. I'm going to brush this little guy right here dark and see how it makes little wings. And this is all dry brushing. I haven't had any water added to my brush or anything like that. So this little guy is going to go right in here. And I'm just going to brush this out a little bit. I don't like that too strong in there. And if you're liking this video, just give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This way I know you're watching. I don't like this all white here, so I'm gonna very softly pull from the bottom up and give him some little feathers. See that? And all I did was just push on the brush. Now I'm gonna rinse my brush out. And I am going to take a little bit of that yellow, which you hardly need any, and I'm gonna make his little beak. And any yellow will do. I just happen to like this yellow paint in here. And we're gonna take his little legs and put some of that yellow in it. And here's his other little leg. And I wanna put a little yellow highlight on his belly, but I wanna wipe my brush on my paper towel so it's almost dry brushing. And by doing that, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting his little belly. See that? And it looks like wings, but I'm not really using a brush specifically for that to make it look like wings. Now we have a trunk here, and I'm going to take a little bit of that raw sienna that I said in the beginning. And I haven't rinsed my brush. I don't care if it has a little yellow in it. And I am going to put some of that raw sienna on my branch, right? All the way around. Because he can't be flying in midair. Now I'm going to switch brushes, and I will take my Ruby Satin, whoops, don't drop it, my Ruby Satin Round number 8. And I'm going to shade with this brush. So I'm going to take a little bit of that burnt umber, and I'm going to load my brush. And I put a little bit of water in here because I want this paint to really flow. This one doesn't have to be, you know, like so stiff. And I'm going to do the, whoops, too much, wipe it off. Take a little bit of that brown and just brush it on your trunk. Now I took everything off. You need a little bit more. So let's put a little bit of that brown right in here. Put a little bit more. So now it looks like a real tree branch, right? I'm going to shade a little bit of his leg here. See, I'm not putting a lot of paint on there. You just want a little touch of it. Again, right here underneath his little belly. Put a little bit more. Now we know he has some little legs down there, but we can't see them, right? So this is where we're going to cheat again with our pen. But in the meantime, before we do that, what I want to do is I want to give him a little highlight up here with some blue. So I am going to take this, whoops, this little light cobalt blue and the dark cobalt blue again. And I'm just going to brush this on top so that it looks like he has a nice little dark area right here. See that? And I'm going to cover this area here of the eye on the bottom. I'm going to highlight that a little bit. So I'm going to use just my light phthalo blue, wipe it on my paper towel, and just come right here on the bottom and give them a little highlight. Now, with this brush, what I like about it is it has that little tip. I will take that and just kind of put a little bit on the eye. And it looks like a real eye, doesn't it? So that's a good way, a tricky way to create an eye. I will rinse my brush completely now. And I'm going to take a little bit of that burnt umber again. And underneath the little beak here, we need to put some of that color. So I will take a little bit of that burnt brown, and I'm not really pressing really hard because I'm not sure how thick, how dark it's going to be. But that looks pretty good. And again, take a little bit of my yellow, oops, on the camera. a little bit of my yellow, and do a little highlight right here. Oh, a little bit more yellow. Now, isn't this a fun project to do? And I will do a little bit of that yellow in the eye. And I'm going to rinse my brush again. Now, for the little feet, I am going to take my Sharpie again and round it here so that I know where my little paws are. And this is not going to show because we're going to cover that with paint. But if you don't do it ahead of time, you kind of lose like where the little feet are. So at least I know where the little feet are standing. And I'm going to take my round brush again with a little bit of the raw sienna and a little bit of the burnt umber. And very straight, hold your brush up and bring it up. And what happens is because you have the pen underneath it, it kind of shades it without actually shading it. And nobody will notice that, trust me. Now, when you buy the kit, it comes with everything. It comes with the paints, all the paints that I've used here. It comes with the paper, the pattern already traced on there. It comes with your soft gel mat that we're going to use to adhere the paper to the canvas. And obviously the video is free. So if you go to my website, you can find this little guide for sale. I want to put a little dark here on his face, around his beak. There we go. It was almost all too much of one color. Now, isn't this something you think you could do? I mean, it's not really too many colors or anything like that. So we have a little wings. I'm going to put a little darker color in here. So let's say, I'm going to show you another little trick. Let's say you have your cobalt blue and you don't really have another darker blue, right? So what I do is I take a pinch of my raw umber. I'm going to tap my brush on my paper towel, and if I come from behind here, it creates a darker blue. See that? And you don't have to have a third color of blue. So take your blue, take your burnt umber, right? Mix it in there, wipe it on your paper towel, come here, and if you just feather it out, you have shaded and done everything with just two colors of paint. And I'll do it over here too so that you could see it again. I'm going to turn him upside down, right? I'm going to take my cobalt blue, my little burnt umber. I'm going to mix it right here. Tap it on my paper towel in case I took too much. And I'm going to darken this area here so that we know that there's a wing coming out. And it doesn't have to be real strong, just enough so that those little feathers are highlighted, right? Now here, I would like to put a little bit more blue on there so that you can see it. So I'm just going to go straight into my cobalt blue without even cleaning my brush out. And I'm going to add a little bit of that phthalo blue so that you could really see it, and always wiping it on my paper towel. Ah, much better. Okay. So this little guy here, now we can see all the little feathers coming out. Yeah, much better. And we're going to highlight this little guy here. And he is done. He looks really good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to glue him on to our 6x6 canvas. Okay, so here I have my canvas. And we want to glue this little bird onto our little canvas here. So I'm going to take my soft gel mat, which also comes with your kit when you buy it. So you don't have to buy anything. Everything comes in the kit, and all you have to do is sit in front of the computer or TV, wherever you watch your YouTube channel, and follow the instructions. So what I do is I take my soft gel mat, I rub the center with it, and work it out. Work from the center out and make sure all the edges have a lot of the matte. See? Right? You can do this. I know you can. Because everybody that has bought one of these kits usually winds up buying another one. And they tell me, oh my gosh, this was so easy to do. I can't believe it. And you know what? If the first one doesn't come out the way you liked it, do another one. It's just paper. Before you glue it onto your canvas, just try on a few pieces of paper. I always send extra paper so that you can play with. So you get more than one little sheet of paper in your kit. Now I will take, and I always cut them just a tad bigger than the canvas so that you have enough room to get it to dry. And once it dries completely, just take a nail file and sand the edges off of the paper, wet the paper a little bit, and it will be fine. So now I'm going to place them right in the middle of our canvas, and from the center out, I am going to press to glue this little guy onto our canvas. Now, if you wanted to get fancy schmancy, you can paint the edges, but I have sold these all the time without painting the edges. I think it just stands out a little bit more, and you'll have no problem. So just leave me some comments. If you tried the little bird, send me a picture and let me know how it went. And if you want to purchase the kit, like I said, go to my website, chriscruzdesigns.com. And I hope you enjoy painting this little bird. Take care. Thanks.